All right, guys, I got a shocking new poll here for you. So, when we talk about the presidential primary polling, we have to understand is it actually makes more sense to go state by state than it does to just talk about the national number. Why? Well, because that's how elections are conducted. And in national polls, the highest I've seen Chris Christie is at about 5%. Most polls have him at 1 or 2%, maybe 3%. But look at this. So in the state of New Hampshire, this is a new poll from a company called American Pulse. They spoke to 895 voters in New Hampshire, okay? So Trump, colossal lead, 48%, plus 37 points on his number one rival, Ron DeSantis, who's at 11, by the way. Now, to be clear, this is DeSantis underperforming his national numbers. National, he's at about 20. So, like, double what he is in New Hampshire. What this tells me is DeSantis doesn't have a particularly good ground game in the early states, and also something about his message and the direction he's going in is turning off New Hampshire voters. Okay, now having said that, look at who's in third place in this poll, statistically tied with Ronnie D. Chris Christie? Chris Krispy Kreme. Chris Christie. What? Okay, I mean, look, that's a stunning number. Chris Christie being at 10% is a stunning number. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. I think it'd be way too early to say, oh, there's a real challenge to Trump happening right now. No, because even the guy who's in second has been slipping and losing ground, and that's the trend we've been seeing for a while. And if anything, all the indictments of Donald Trump has helped him in the primary, although it's hurt him in the general. But the fact that Chris Christie is in third place, and make no mistake about it, y'all, his whole campaign is like, I'm just going to kamikaze Trump. I'm just going to rip Trump a new one day in and day out without skipping a beat, without missing a breath. And look, it's kind of working. You have all these other losers like Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Mike Pence, trying to split the difference of like, I'm not going to be pro-Trump, but I'm also not going to be anti-Trump. I'm going to criticize him fairly, but I'm also going to give him credit where it's due. And I'm going to say, I'm the true conservative voice and vision. Yes, very good, very good. Like, they're trying that, and it is not remotely close to working. It's the furthest thing from working I've ever seen in my life. They just look cuckish. They just look nebbish. They just look totally ineffectual to mount even a little bit of a surge against Trump. DeSantis is, of course, doing his routine where he's trying to outflank Trump on the right, and it's not working. If anything, he's losing ground. The one person, he's gone from donut, goose egg, 0, all the way up to 10 in an early state here, a crucial early state, and that is higher than anybody thought he would go. So look, what does this tell you? It tells you that there is some semblance of the quote-unquote traditional Republican classic. The people who supported John McCain, the people who supported Mitt Romney in previous elections, the people who want like a mild-mannered leader who looks like a president in a TV show, in a sitcom. And those people are breaking for Christie. That's what they're doing. Now, by the way, let's be clear, on policy, Chris Christie is just as conservative as Donald Trump is. The main difference between Christie and Trump is that Trump repeatedly says he doesn't want to cut Social Security and Medicare. Christie does. And other than that, Trump doesn't believe in democracy and would throw out the results of an election, and Christie wouldn't. So those are like the only differences. On policy, they're pretty much exactly the same. But man, what does this show? I wonder how high the number of the totally anti-Trump Republicans can go, because I'll be honest with you guys, this is higher than I thought it would go. I thought that, there's a significant chunk of Trump-weary Republicans, like just they've had enough, it's too much, but I thought those people would go to other candidates more so than Christie. But Christie is sort of in the process of consolidating them. So I'm curious what all you guys think of this. Are you surprised by Chris Christie getting all the way to 10% in New Hampshire? Do you think it's going to go up even more? Do you think this is a harbinger of things to come? I don't even know if that word harbinger makes sense in this sentence, but we're going to go with it anyway. Is it a harbinger of things to come? Is this somewhat real? The thing about Christie that makes him, in theory, a half-decent candidate is being aggressive, pulling no punches, and being confident. Like, that's what makes it... Because voters react to that. They like somebody who's just like, I'm just going to tell you exactly what I think. I'm going to lay it out there, and I don't care if you like it or dislike. I'm just going to say it. So that makes him, on paper, a better candidate than a lot of these other losers like Nikki Haley. But how far can it go? That's the question. How far can it go? And, I mean, look, clearly, based on the polling, there's not enough of these anti-Trump Republicans to uncrown Trump in a primary. But I am curious what that top number is, and I am curious what will happen moving forwards, because this is, again, this is the point to stress here. This is way better than most people thought he could ever do, including me. But if you get him on it, I would love to see Trump versus Christie on a debate stage. Because Christie, I don't even think Christie's trying to win. I think he's just trying to tank Trump and no holds barred. Just like, I'm just going to tear this guy a new one on a debate stage. That would be a fun thing to watch. Because remember, Chris Christie is the original Donald Trump. He got famous and he got popular yelling at people in town hall meetings when he was governor of New Jersey. That's how he got popular. And then when he ran in 2016, he listened to his dumb staffers who were giving him the advice to reel it in, be more like a politician, be more mild-mannered. And that was the last thing you should ever do. So Trump took on the Christie persona and won in 2016. And Christie now is like, I'm just going to do my Christie persona and I'm just going to go after Donald Trump on a daily basis. So look, what I'll say is I'm curious to see how far this can go. I don't think he can win. I think that's too much of an ask when the polls are so solidified on the side of Trump. But can he get 20%? Can he eventually get above and beyond DeSantis? I don't know. The other one to keep your eye on here is Ramaswamy, because there's been some national polls where he's closing in on DeSantis as well. But Ramaswamy, I don't know. I think it's just I think it's a flash in the pan, sort of like how Herman Cain was leading the polls one time in 2012 for a week or two, and like Carly Fiorina was doing the same thing. And is Christie just a flash in the pan as well? Or is he going to sort of hang in there with the DeSantis numbers as we move forward here? I don't know. I just had to point out this fact to you because I think this is kind of astonishing that Christie got all the way to 10% in New Hampshire. But look, there might be a difference here between New Hampshire, right, northeastern state, versus what are you going to do? Look at the polling, Trump versus Christie in like Mississippi, right? Like my guess is Christie's down with that 1% range in the more conservative states. But anyway, there you have it. Kind of interesting. And this is one of the many reasons why, man, Trump better debate. And we could talk about Biden too. Biden dodging a debate with Marianne Williamson, with RFK and all that stuff. Biden should have to, it should be a law. It should be a law that Biden has to debate. It should be a law that Trump has to debate. We need to see it because I want to see how far this can go. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.